It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for sticking around. You are in hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Matt Roberts, co-founder and president of Sherrill Manufacturing. Joe Fideli stops by, owner of the Fish Cove. And then Patrick Smith is the owner of Men in Kilts. It's not what you think, folks, but
it might be. I'm not sure. Yeah. They haven't gotten here yet.
Golly, we'll have to figure it out as we go.
I don't know.
We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. We're also on YouTube. If you look us up, Zoey Advertising on YouTube, and you can cut through all the clutter. That's becoming like network television now. You know, YouTube, it's just like commercial after commercial, and it's all sorts of weird things like, I think I saw something for the glow in the light, glow in the dark flashlight, and things like that.
Well, they target us, stuff. Right? So
yeah, sure.
So you probably have testosterone replacement or whatever, but they target.
There's that too.
They know who we are, right? So
yes.
But I'm tempted to give them the $10 and not get the commercial.
Yeah, right,
but
right, yeah.
The commercials, to me, being in this industry, I'm interested.
Right, you want to see how they're doing things, yeah,
right.
Sure.
And then it's like I want to skip it quicker though. I'm like skip the ad, right?
Yeah, I love that the pre-roll that doesn't let you skip.
Yeah, that's annoying.
They kind of force feed it to you, and then the mid-roll, like especially when I'm trying to figure out something like for my washing machine.
They always put it right at that. They're always at. It's interesting, and then commercial. The timing even is like right there.
Golly, what a thing! Now, my uncle says he just got YouTube television and loves it. And I was interested. I was like, I don't understand that. So they're now a provider, just like Pluto and everything else. He said it's just hundreds and hundreds of stations, and it's cheaper than your big people,
Right.
Yeah, your ones that.
Well, I talked to him. I'm curious.
Yeah, to see. Yeah, of course, you still need the internet. So.
Right. Well, you got the internet to do anything.
To do anything. Okay. Well, not to talk to Matt over here. We don't need the internet for him.
No.
I don't have a kilt on.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a kilt.
We appreciate that.
So do I.
We're going to talk with Matt Roberts. He's the co-founder and president of Sherrill Manufacturing. You can see all their products at libertytabletop.com. libertytabletop.com. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good. Made it through another holiday season on the web. Yeah.
Isn't that fun? Yeah. So tell people your background. How did you get to own this beautiful swath of land and buildings out in Sherrill?
Yeah, 100-year-old factory. Yeah. Well, I worked for Oneida Limited for a number of years, and when the factory was slated to close in 2004, myself and Greg Owens got together and we purchased the factory. We've since sold the land and buildings, and now we're a tenant. But I'm sort of a contrarian type person.
That's a big word. Explain to us what that is.
And I have a lot of disagreeableness in my mentality.
You're Roberts.
Right. That's the way Steve is, oddly enough.
It's a Welsh thing.
It's got to be a Welsh thing.
Yeah.
If someone tells you can't do something, you want to show them. So
yeah.
So you were working there.
Yeah.
Why did they fail at the original company?
There was a number of different reasons, but the big reason was China joining the World Trade Organization in 2000. Thank you, George Bush.
That was sarcasm, Tom.
Yes, I could tell.
He had some help from Congress, but
right.
To get that really allowed them to dump products on our shores for less than we could buy the raw materials for.
Yeah.
So Oneida was forced to close because they just couldn't afford to compete when all of their competition was importing from China.
Crazy, man.
So,
right, and you said, we can do this.
Well, and what's your personal background?
Yeah.
Like, are you an engineer? Or
I'm electrical and computer engineering. I went to Clarkson up in the frozen tundra of Potsdam, New York.
You're a pretty smart guy then, to be able to make it through that.
I made it through. I graduated.
Good golly! All right.
Yep. So
then you got involved with this. So you have some background to be able to understand how things work mechanically.
yeah, I'm a nuts and bolts numbers guy. I really enjoy being in the factory, the sights and smells of the factory,
Right.
and I'm in my office and things go quiet. I start getting the heebie-jeebies, and I have to run out there and see what's going on. It has to be loud and noisy.
Yeah, sure.
Or we're not making product. You know?
So you and your partner said, hey, they failed. We could fail too. I mean, what was the idea? How did this?
Yeah,
we can
right.
fail faster.
How did you feel there was an opportunity?
Well, the internet was not really one of the options in 2005 because Bezos was still selling CDs out of his garage back then. So we wanted to have we thought that if we could have our own brand and leapfrog all the middlemen, we could sell, Macy's makes an 80% margin. We could fit in there. As time went on, our costs continued to go up versus China. But then this great idea came about of internet retail. So we sell on our website, and we can compete with Macy's, Bed Bath & Beyond, Crate & Barrel, Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, the luxury brands that are out there. We consider ourselves a premium brand, a luxury brand. Steel that's melted in the United States, which is way more expensive than importing it. So we start with very expensive components to make our products. We also have to, pay people a living wage. We don't have slave labor. So we in New York State, obviously, we pay people a going rate. So our products are way more expensive than they are to import.
Right. So they're premium. So is that the libertytabletop.com? Have I got that
yes,
right?
Yes.
So the products, what I heard you say, I think was they cost more, but they're better. Is that a fair way to put it?
They're way better.
How are they way better?
They're better from the raw material. So it's 1810. It's melted in the United States. You know what's in it. We actually get test reports from the manufacturer of the steel telling us what's in it and what's not in it, which is also important. The second thing is we have our finishing, our final polish of the parts is second to none. I mean, we inspect every piece one at a time. We look at it. Our inspectors are very discerning. They see things that I can't even see. I said, what are you looking at? How can that be a defect? Well, look at this. And they've got eagle eyes. And then we also have designs that you'll never see anywhere in the world because we make our own tooling. And the tooling process we use is highly repeatable. So if you buy the Celtic design, for example, and your great-great-grandson bought it, 100 years from now, you wouldn't even be able to tell even with a microscope, the difference in the pattern detail. And that's because we have a very technical way of reproducing the die. So we can make things that other people can't.
Where do you get your metal steel from?
It comes from ATI, which is Allegheny Ludlam. It comes from North American Stainless out of Tennessee. Allegheny Ludlam is Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah.
So Pittsburgh, Tennessee. Some of it's melted in Alabama, but most of it
all in the United States.
All in the U.S. It has to be melted in the United States. The other neat thing is stainless steel is infinitely recyclable. So about 85% of our product is recycled content.
Interesting.
Yep.
And then you make it all here, and you talk about your workforce. How many people are in the workforce?
We're around 70 right now and holding steady. Obviously, inflation has been difficult for everybody.
Yeah,
it hit us the last couple of years really hard. So we're just having to deal with it.
What were you when you and your partner said, "Hey, we can do this"? How many people did you start with? What was it? How did
we
this
started
work?
with 150? Because we had a contract with Oneida. We helped them to finish manufacturing all the work in process. So we had 150, and we got down as low as 6. And then we're back up to 70.
How do you run a factory with only 6?
You run the machines yourself.
Wow.
And you learn a lot, probably.
You learn from your mistakes, mostly.
Wow, so what a comeback from 150 to 6.
Then back.
To 70.
And back to 70.
And a factory that at one time in the 90s, we had 2,500 people working there.
And do you have indoor plumbing over there?
We do. Okay. And we actually have heat now.
Nice. Very good. Well, let's talk more about that. I'd like to unpack this more. Do you mind sticking around?
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Excellent. That's Matt Roberts right there. He's the co-founder and president of Sherrill Manufacturing. We'll continue our conversation. If you'd like to check out libertytabletop.com in the meantime, during the commercial break, go ahead and do that. We'll be right back with Matt Roberts right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Thank you for coming back. If you're here, that means we are too, right here on The Local Show. Tom and Steve from Zoey Advertising. I'm the creative director over here at Zoey Advertising with Steve Roberts, who is the owner of Zoey Advertising. And we've been talking with Matt Roberts. He's the co-founder and president of Sherrill Manufacturing, and we'll continue that conversation.
Tom. New Year's resolutions, do you have any?
No.
Okay.
I really don't.
You're going to walk more. You're going to, I don't know.
No.
No?
No, not really. I've never been into that, but
I've been into it, but I've never accomplished. I've changed things. I've made goals, but that whole New Year, it's just fake.
As I've gotten older, I guess just being alive might be a goal.
That's a good
Live another year.
Can I go another year? I don't know. My father's more positive than I am, and he's 81. So
well, he like works out all the time.
He works out and he practices his instruments and plays in the bands. So he's got a great life going.
When's the last time you pulled your bass out?
Well, I moved it from upstairs to downstairs in my new studio.
Okay.
So I put it over in the corner. That's about it. I haven't had time to play with it.
Well, plus you don't have a purpose to play.
Right.
I don't mean
exactly.
that. But it's
no,
like,
you're right,
you're
though.
not like,
There's no
you're not going somewhere.
I'm not going to go on a
doing
concert.
Something.
And with this DJ stuff, it's more of that than it is the other.
You should go jam
nowadays.
with Greg or somebody.
Yeah, Greg's a great. Greg is wonderful for that. He wants me to come over to the church and do stuff and do praise songs. He says it'll get my mind in the right place.
Well, it does. Plus, a good bass.
Right.
It really helps.
Yeah.
I've been in worship services, and it's like,
right.
let's get so a bass and a drummer, put those together.
Yeah.
I'm moving. I think God
Nice.
shows up with a good bass
Soulful bass.
Absolutely.
Soulful bass. So about the Sherrill Manufacturing, that you were saying the buildings had been around for quite some time. When were those constructed?
The oldest buildings, well, we're not in this whole space now, but the oldest buildings are Civil War.
Wow. That far back. So when I was talking about indoor plumbing, that at some point they didn't have. You had to go to the outhouse.
No, they made the Victor mousetrap there and a Night of Victor animal traps. For many years.
They made the Victor.
The Victor mousetrap is from
those are
Sherrill,
popular.
New York.
Wow.
And nobody's built a better one.
I can picture the even the logo. It's got a V. I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, when they say they can't build a better mousetrap, they mean it.
Yeah. I've seen the old traps. There's some people that collect them, and it's pretty cool.
Oh my goodness!
So, what's new on the horizon? Are there any new manufacturing techniques, new metals, new materials that you would make stuff out of? Or?
Well, the big news for Liberty Tabletop and Sherrill Manufacturing is we are installing our first robot in 2023. So our forging press that forges the knives is presently done by hand, and it's really sort of I call it a man killer, but it's difficult to do. It's hot.
You can't say that. You have to say person killer.
Person killer.
Yeah, all right.
Yes,
there you go.
yeah.
Carbon unit killer. How's that?
You got clues.
So we're gonna have that. Our friends at Markhart Switches in Cazenovia.
Sure, they're great.
They have an engineering group that is doing the integration for us. We're working closely with them. It's nice to work with somebody 20 minutes away.
Right.
And so we're installing the robot probably January, February timeframe. And that's our first foray into modern 2020.
And what are the benefits of that?
The benefits of it are repeatability, speed. Now you've got a person that's actually monitoring a robot rather than physically grabbing the parts. And the repeatability is the ability to forge at a higher temperature because you can't reach in and grab the pieces if they're too hot. So we can forge, right now we're forging about 1100 degrees, which is actually not good. We can go all the way up above 2000 degrees now.
Tell us what's forging.
Forging is heating up the metal to a very hot temperature and basically stamping it at a high temperature. It's forging. I went to the Estwing Hammer Factory in Rockville, Illinois, and they make their hammers the exact same way that we make our blades. Almost exactly the same machinery, a little bit bigger. But so we went there as a benchmarking exercise to see if what they're doing, we could translate it into making knives.
As an engineer, you were like a kid at Disneyland out there.
It's really, you should see the automation and robots and just that's what we need to get to.
And now, is that the way it was done in the olden days? Like, I'm imagining a bunch of people like in The Hobbit, and anvils and king, ka-ching,
it used to be done, in
hammering it
with
out.
drop hammers, they call them, and it had this huge weight, which was affectionately called the monkey because it sort of climbed up and jumped down.
Mm-hmm.
But you would, up to 3,500 pounds, you'd put your hand in there and this giant hammer would hit with your hand sticking in there.
Wow.
And they did that. Millions and millions of pieces were made in Sherrill. You could literally, in the middle of the winter, because sound travels and it was a 3-shift operation, you could be sitting in your home at night and you could hear the forge hammers all through the town.
Wow.
So you're an engineer with a personality. How'd that happen?
I give all the kudos to my wife.
Okay.
Yes, she turned a nerd into a human being.
So what does the nerd enjoy the most about the business? What's fun for you? Like, this is fun. What's fun?
I just like helping to get product through the factory and working with human beings to figure stuff out and work as a team. When we're working in the factory, we're all wearing our jeans and getting greasy, and I really enjoy the human interaction part of it. And working with a group of people that are rowing in the same direction.
Where do you see the biggest growth for your company? Is it within the United States or is it abroad? It's
definitely in the United States. Flatware is such an infrequent purchase that people don't know about us. So we're starting to do things a little bit differently from a marketing standpoint. We're branching out. Actually, if you go to the airport, you're going to see my ugly mug there at the baggage claim. We're spending some time. We've done some television stuff, but mostly what I think is, we need to build our brand, which takes time. The other thing what we want to do is we want to start shifting gears and start putting more and more quality into the piece and really push the premium high-end brand, something that you're going to buy infrequently, but you'll only have to buy once.
Right.
Okay? So if it costs 30, 40, 50%, double what it costs to buy something from China, you're getting something that's going to be shiny in your drawer for years to come, and you can hand it down to your kids if you want to.
And I'm going to give you a tip here. Wedding receptions, wedding people. That is a huge market, multi-billion-dollar industry.
Tom knows that world.
And quite frankly, if you can tap into that and not have people buy, go to Walmart and buy the cheap stuff.
Do you have like a registry?
We're part of a registry, and the thing about the wedding registry is you sell place settings rather than sets. So you can have 12 people get together and each buy a place setting for someone. Right, sure. And if it costs $70, $80, maybe you buy a couple place settings.
Exactly.
But we don't, it's not that we have two prices, take it or leave it. It's that we want to be different. It's no longer, we don't want it to be a race to the bottom, which is what it was when you try to compete with China. Yeah. You can't do it. So we want to continue to build more quality into our processes, make better, heavier pieces, but make the finish better, maybe even change some materials down the road. We've got some ideas that I don't really
American made. I mean, that carries a lot of weight for many of us.
It does, and I think that we're getting back to that too. That's Mark Roberts, Mark. Matt.
That's my younger brother.
Was the other guy.
Hi, Mark.
My brother's named Mark.
Oh, no kidding.
He was talking Mark Roberts.
There's no Luke and John, though.
No, right. But Matt Roberts right there, he's the co-founder and president of Sherrill Manufacturing. LibertyTabletop.com. Go check out the site, LibertyTabletop.com. Thank you so much for all you do and for employing people and making Sherrill Sherrill, a pretty place out there.
It's a passion. It's not just a business.
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to get a little fishy. We're going to talk with Joe Fideli, owner of the Fish Cove, right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.